What if your thoughts weren't just private? What if they were planetary? This isn't philosophy. This isn't a metaphor. This is a law, a precise, invisible mechanism that links your inner world to the fabric of the universe itself. As above, so below. You've seen the phrase before, but what does it actually mean? It means your mind is not isolated. It's wired into the cosmos. Every belief you hold, every emotion you generate, sends out a frequency, and that frequency shapes the world around you, whether you're aware of it or not. You're not reacting to life. You're projecting it. This isn't about ancient sayings or mystical poetry. It's about understanding the structure of reality that most people never question. Everything you experience on the outside is a direct reflection of what's active on the inside. Your thoughts don't float aimlessly. They land, they build, they reshape everything you call reality. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. Your energy becomes architecture. Your mind becomes blueprint. The same patterns that govern the planets govern your perceptions, your choices, your life path. This video isn't here to inspire you. It's here to expose what's already happening. Because once you see this law clearly, once you understand how your inner world is constantly transmitting into the cosmos, you'll stop trying to fix the surface. You'll go straight to the source. This is as above, so below, the invisible law that links your mind to the cosmos. And nothing about your reality will look the same after this. Are you ready to stop reacting to life and start shaping it from the source? If so, type "I am aligned" in the comments to lock it in. Give this video a thumbs up if it woke something up in you. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-altering truths that decode the structure of reality. 1. The mirror equation of reality. Reality operates in a deeply structured manner, driven not by random chance, but by an underlying logic that is intricately tied to your personal beliefs and mental frameworks. The world around you is not a series of disconnected events, but rather a carefully arranged sequence that mirrors your internal world. Every event you encounter, every person you meet, every situation you face carries with it a hidden symbolism, a reflection of the way you think and perceive the world. This connection is not arbitrary. It follows a precise pattern that aligns with your mental models. Your internal worldview, shaped by your beliefs, thoughts, and perceptions, serves as the blueprint that guides how external circumstances unfold. The way you mentally organize your world influences the kind of experiences you draw into your life. These mental models, patterns of thought, beliefs, and cognitive frameworks are the underlying architecture upon which reality is built. Just as an architect designs a building with specific plans, your mind designs your reality with the blueprints of your internal structures. Your experiences are not just coincidences. They are reflections of your mental framework, each one an external manifestation of your thoughts and beliefs. This means that when you change the way you think, the world around you begins to shift as well, gradually aligning with your new internal structures. What you believe to be true about yourself, about others, and about the world creates a filter through which you perceive everything. Your beliefs shape the way you interpret events, interactions, and circumstances. For example, if you hold the belief that the world is hostile, you will interpret most of your experiences as encounters with negativity or resistance. Conversely, if you see the world as a place of abundance and opportunity, you will perceive challenges as stepping stones to growth. In this way, your mental filters dictate the types of experiences you attract. The thoughts you entertain regularly act as signals to the external world, pulling in events that align with the vibrations, not to be confused with energy, but rather the underlying logic of your thoughts. The structure of reality, then, is not a chaotic mess of random happenings, but a carefully calculated arrangement, an unfolding of events that follows a particular rhythm and logic. Each moment in your life is a manifestation of the inner structures you carry. These inner structures can be thought of as a map that guides your experience. When you align your internal world with clarity and intention, you will begin to see your outer world reflect that alignment. It's a continuous loop where your thoughts influence the experiences you have, and those experiences, in turn, reinforce the beliefs you hold about the world. This is the core of the mirror equation of reality, where your inner world serves as both the architect and the reflector of the world you experience. At its most basic level, this means that reality is not a haphazard series of random events, but a precise reflection of the inner workings of your mind. Just as a mirror reflects whatever is placed in front of it, the world reflects whatever is in your mind. The clearer and more deliberate your thoughts, the clearer and more deliberate the experiences that unfold before you. The chaotic or scattered thoughts you hold will manifest as similarly chaotic or scattered experiences. This means that your internal state, how you think, what you believe, and how you view the world, directly influences the shape of your external reality. Your mental models set the tone for what you experience, creating a world that mirrors the exact nature of your thoughts. The more conscious you become of this connection, the more you can begin to intentionally align your thoughts and beliefs with the kind of reality you wish to experience. Thus, the relationship between your mind and the external world is not one of simple cause and effect, but of a more profound and subtle reflection, where the world around you is shaped by the very architecture of your inner thoughts and beliefs. This law, hidden in plain sight, governs the way reality unfolds, and understanding it offers the key to consciously designing your life. By recognizing that your inner world shapes your outer world, you gain the power to transform your experiences by first transforming the way you think. The mirror equation of reality is not just a spiritual concept, but a practical guide to understanding and navigating the world you create through your own mind. 2. The code of mental geometry. The mind operates with a unique form of structure that mirrors the geometric patterns found throughout the universe. These cognitive structures are not random, but follow a precise and organized system where every thought, belief, and mental pattern is part of an intricate cosmic blueprint. Just as the universe is filled with order, symmetry, and balance, the mental patterns you form within yourself adhere to similar principles of order and geometry. Every thought you have forms a connection, weaving itself into a larger system of understanding that not only shapes how you perceive the world, but also how you organize your experience of it. When you think, you don't simply create isolated ideas. Each thought is a part of a greater whole that follows an inner logic. These thoughts are not simply disconnected fragments of mental noise. They are structured in a way that aligns with the larger cosmic order. The proportions of your mental frameworks reflect the proportions seen in nature, art, and the natural world. This intrinsic alignment of your thoughts creates a foundation for how you interact with reality. When you think a certain way, your mind forms a mental structure, much like how an architect creates a plan for a building. Each mental framework has its own layout, its own structure, which dictates the patterns you will encounter in the physical world. The mental structures you hold, your thoughts, beliefs, and internal organization are directly connected to how external circumstances unfold in your life. Every decision you make contributes to the formation of these mental structures, and in turn, those structures influence how you interpret and experience the world. When you form a belief or an understanding, it doesn't just stay confined within the mind. It extends outward and becomes a framework that shapes how you perceive your environment. In essence, your internal thought patterns become the organizing principle for how you experience the external world. Your mental architecture is the lens through which you interpret everything around you. As you organize your thoughts, you create a framework that governs your reality. This framework is not passive. It actively shapes and determines how external events align with your internal organization. The clarity or complexity of your thought systems influences how events, people, and circumstances align with your perception of reality. When your mental structures are clear and organized, the external world tends to appear in an organized manner as well, often aligning with the precision and symmetry of your internal thought processes. On the other hand, when your mental frameworks are scattered or disordered, the experiences you have may also appear chaotic, confusing, or disjointed. The alignment of your inner thoughts with the precision of the outer world is a subtle yet powerful force. This alignment means that the more harmonized and structured your internal world is, the more your external reality reflects that order. Every aspect of the external world, whether it's the relationships you form, the work you do, or the way you navigate your day, carries the influence of your internal structures. Your ability to organize your thoughts to create clear and deliberate mental frameworks directly influences how your environment is arranged and how you engage with it. In this sense, mental geometry is not a passive reflection of the outside world, but an active and organizing force that shapes the very fabric of your experience. The way your mind arranges thoughts and beliefs mirrors the patterns and structures found in nature and the cosmos. These mental frameworks dictate the rhythm and order of your reality, organizing events and circumstances in a way that aligns with the clarity, proportion, and structure of your thoughts. As you gain awareness of the geometric nature of your thought patterns, you begin to recognize how they shape your interactions with the world. By intentionally organizing your thoughts and understanding the principles of mental geometry, you gain the ability to create a more harmonious and orderly experience in your life. Ultimately, your mind functions as an architect, laying down the plans that shape the very structure of your reality. Every thought, every decision, and every belief is part of this mental blueprint that corresponds to the outer world's order. Your mind's organization and its inherent geometry act as the organizing principle that determines how external events and circumstances unfold, reflecting the inner organization you have established. Understanding this connection allows you to harness the power of your mental geometry and begin to design your life with intention, clarity, and purpose. 3. Cosmic echo and the repetition loop. The universe operates on an inherent principle of repetition, where patterns and events seem to echo throughout time and space. These repetitions are not random, but are part of a broader cosmic framework designed to bring attention to unresolved aspects of the mind. When certain thought patterns remain unresolved, they become amplified in the external world, appearing again and again in different forms, but with the same underlying themes. These repeated events, no matter how they manifest, are not merely coincidences. They are clues, echoes of specific mental patterns that have not been fully processed or understood. The world around you, in this sense, reflects the unresolved aspects of your inner thought patterns, bringing them to the forefront to be examined, understood, and transformed. Persistent circumstances in your life often arise from mental structures that are imprinted deep within the unconscious mind. These structures shape your perceptions and actions, and when they are not consciously addressed, they continue to resonate outward into your reality, appearing as repeated life situations. These repetitions are not external forces acting upon you, but are a direct result of the unexamined mental patterns you carry within. Each time the same situation arises, it serves as a reminder that the thought configuration or belief at the core of that experience has not yet been shifted or altered. What you perceive as recurring life challenges are, in essence, manifestations of unresolved thought patterns that need attention and resolution. As these mental patterns repeat, they often become more complex, layering deeper elements of your unconscious mind with each cycle. The first time a particular thought pattern arises, it may seem simple or straightforward, but as it repeats, it takes on new dimensions. The complexity of the situation grows, offering deeper layers of insight into the structure of your mental beliefs. These complexities are not intended to confuse or overwhelm you, but rather to reveal more intricate facets of your internal world. As you encounter the same themes in different guises, they prompt you to explore your mental architecture more thoroughly, helping you uncover the unconscious structures that govern your life. With each repetition, the mind becomes increasingly aware of the imprint it has left on the external world. Repeated experiences provide an opportunity to see the depth and power of mental structures that were once unconscious or unnoticed. As you encounter the same themes over and over, it becomes clear that the external world is not simply repeating events without reason, but is offering you an opportunity to recognize and confront the patterns within your own thinking. These repeated events act as mirrors of your internal mind, helping you see the silent forces that have shaped your past choices and actions. The more aware you become of these mental imprints, the more you are able to consciously shift and refine them, allowing for a clearer, more intentional experience of life. The repetition of these patterns is not a form of punishment, nor is it a result of any external force trying to control or hinder you. Instead, it is a tool, an opportunity for refinement. Just as a stone is polished over time by the constant flow of water, the repetitions in your life are meant to gradually refine your mental clarity and understanding. They are not obstacles to overcome, but invitations to expand your awareness and consciousness. As you encounter the same patterns, you are given the chance to learn from them, refine your thoughts, and align them more closely with clarity and purpose. Each repetition brings you closer to the realization that your external world is not separate from your internal world, but rather a direct reflection of the mental structures you carry within. Through the lens of cosmic repetition, you begin to see that the challenges and events in your life are not arbitrary, but are part of a process designed to help you grow and evolve mentally and spiritually. By becoming more conscious of the mental imprints that guide your life, you gain the power to shift your thought patterns and make deliberate choices that align with your true desires and intentions. The repeated cycles are not meant to trap you, but to teach you, to help you refine and evolve your thinking so that you can live more consciously and authentically. In this way, cosmic repetition becomes a tool of self-awareness and mental refinement, guiding you toward deeper clarity and understanding. The Thought Constellation Bridge. The human mind is not a collection of isolated thoughts, but a vast network of interconnected ideas, beliefs, and concepts that work together as clusters. These clusters are not just random. They form constellations, much like groups of stars in the sky, with each one guiding your experiences and shaping your perception of reality. These constellations of thought create patterns that influence the way you interpret events, interact with others, and make decisions. The formation of these clusters is the result of your habitual thinking, your deeply held beliefs, and your consistent thought patterns, all of which align to create a structured and organized mental landscape. This mental structure does not exist in isolation. Rather, it acts as a bridge to external experiences, guiding and directing the way you interact with the world around you. The interactions between these thought constellations are crucial in determining the significant life events you encounter. Just as stars in the sky follow specific patterns and movements, the constellations in your mind follow certain paths influencing the major events in your life. When certain clusters of thought become more dominant or aligned with specific mental patterns, they can direct the flow of your life in a particular direction. For example, if you constantly dwell on certain thoughts or beliefs, these mental clusters will align in a way that creates opportunities or challenges that resonate with the nature of those thoughts. Your inner thought structures are not passive. They actively shape and dictate the flow of your external experiences, guiding you toward situations that reinforce your beliefs and thought patterns. These mental constellations also shape the atmosphere or energy of the experiences you attract into your life. While the term energy is often used in a metaphysical context, in this instance, it refers to the subtle but powerful influence of your thoughts on your perception of external events. The thought clusters you create generate a certain quality of experience, impacting how you engage with the world around you. When your thoughts are aligned in a positive and open direction, the experiences that arise tend to reflect this mindset, drawing in situations that support this way of thinking. Similarly, when your thoughts are dominated by fear, doubt, or negativity, the constellations of those thoughts create circumstances that mirror those internal states. It's not about attracting things in a mystical or predetermined sense, but rather how your mental patterns shape the kinds of events and interactions you experience based on the quality and direction of your thinking. At times, the collapse of certain thought constellations can lead to profound transformation in your life. This collapse occurs when a significant shift happens in your mental framework, whether through new insights, realizations, or a change in perspective. When a dominant thought constellation is no longer able to hold its structure due to new mental clarity or awareness, it can cause a deep transformation in your life. This shift often leads to the breaking away of old thought patterns and the birth of new ones, allowing for a reorganization of how you perceive the world. This transformation is not random or a result of external forces acting upon you, but rather a natural consequence of your mind reorganizing itself and realigning its constellations in response to new information or experiences. Your internal world, consisting of the constellations of thought you have formed, serves as the organizing force behind the external events you encounter. In much the same way that the stars form constellations that guide sailors on their journeys, your thought constellations form a map for your life. This map dictates the course of your experiences, aligning your internal belief systems with the patterns you encounter in the outside world. As you refine and alter your thought constellations, you begin to alter the external reality you experience. The alignment of your mental clusters determines the path you take in life, how you interpret events, and what kind of situations you draw into your experience. In this way, the bridge between your thoughts and the world around you is not just a passive connection, but an active, guiding force that shapes your reality. The relationship between the internal mental constellations and the external world is symbiotic. Just as the organization of stars in the sky follows a particular logic and pattern, so too does the organization of your thoughts. By understanding the structure of your thought constellations, you gain insight into how they shape and direct your experiences. When you are aware of the patterns in your thinking, you have the ability to consciously align and shift these constellations to bring about the desired outcomes in your life. It is not fate or external forces that control your reality, but rather the organized structures of thought you cultivate within your mind, which in turn shape the reality you experience. 5. The invisible grid of mental infrastructure. Your mind operates as an intricate system of beliefs, assumptions, and thought patterns that construct a framework often invisible to the naked eye, yet profoundly powerful in shaping your reality. This mental infrastructure is the foundation upon which the reality you experience is built. It serves as the organizing structure for your perceptions, actions, and decisions, guiding you through life in ways you may not always be aware of. The beliefs you hold, whether consciously or unconsciously, form the very fabric of this internal system. These beliefs set parameters for what is possible in your life, dictating the limits and possibilities you encounter. They shape how you see yourself, others, and the world, acting as the foundation for everything that follows. Each belief, assumption, and thought pattern creates a form of boundary in your internal world. These boundaries are not rigid in the sense of physical walls, but they set the tone for what can or cannot manifest in your life. For example, if you hold the belief that you are unworthy of success or happiness, that belief becomes a boundary in your mental infrastructure. It closes off certain paths and limits the opportunities you are able to recognize or pursue. On the other hand, a belief in your own potential to succeed opens up a different set of possibilities, creating an environment where opportunities are more likely to present themselves. The internal boundaries you create through your beliefs and assumptions determine how your life unfolds and which paths you're able to walk. The thoughts you entertain and the beliefs you uphold work together to form a complex mental grid. This grid serves as the organizing system for your internal world, and its structure plays a key role in what unfolds in your external life. For instance, if your mental grid is constructed around fear, scarcity, or self-doubt, it will direct your attention and actions toward experiences that align with those themes. This internal grid shapes how you engage with the world, who you interact with, and how you perceive opportunities or challenges. If your grid is focused on abundance, love, and personal empowerment, it will guide you toward experiences that support those themes. The structure of this invisible mental framework is not passive. It actively determines how you navigate life and what experiences you attract. The internal infrastructure of beliefs and assumptions forms the framework through which every aspect of your life is viewed and experienced. It organizes your thoughts, decisions, and actions in a way that aligns with your mental structures. This framework acts as a lens through which you interpret the world around you. The way you see and experience your relationships, your career, and even your day-to-day interactions is influenced by the mental infrastructure you have created. If you perceive the world as abundant and full of possibilities, your mental framework will direct you to seek out experiences that validate that belief. Conversely, if your internal infrastructure is built on scarcity or limitation, it will guide you to experiences that reinforce those perceptions. The reality you encounter is not random, but rather a direct result of the underlying structures you have built within your consciousness. In addition to shaping how you experience life, this invisible infrastructure also dictates the types of events and circumstances you will face. Your mental grid essentially lays out the map of your potential experiences, acting as the organizing principle for your life's narrative. The assumptions and beliefs you carry about yourself and the world determine the kinds of situations you will be exposed to. If your infrastructure is centered on negative or limiting beliefs, you will be more likely to encounter situations that reinforce these limitations. On the other hand, a mental infrastructure that supports growth, possibility, and openness will guide you toward experiences that encourage personal development and expansion. This internal map is not a mere reflection of external circumstances, but the guiding force that helps shape and direct your life's course. Ultimately, the invisible mental framework you live within has a profound impact on every aspect of your life. It affects how you think, how you feel, how you act, and how you relate to others. Your reality is not simply a random collection of events, but rather a direct expression of the structure of your internal consciousness. As you become more aware of the beliefs and assumptions that form your mental infrastructure, you gain the power to reshape this framework, creating new boundaries that open up new possibilities and experiences. This internal structure is not fixed. It can be altered, refined, and expanded to create a reality that better aligns with your desires and intentions. Through awareness and conscious effort, you can transform the invisible scaffolding that holds your reality together, ultimately creating a life that reflects your truest self. 6. Polarity conduits and the cosmic circuit. The mind operates as a dynamic conductor that shapes and directs the flow of influences from the larger universal field. Every decision, belief, and thought process you engage in acts as a powerful channel, guiding certain energies that shape your experience of the world. These energies are not abstract or passive. They are deeply connected to the mental positions you take, which act as polarizing forces within the broader fabric of reality. When you adopt specific mental states, such as certainty, doubt, or confidence, you establish a kind of polarity. These mental positions create a push and pull within your own psyche and ripple outward, influencing how you engage with the world around you. The choices you make in every moment, whether consciously or unconsciously, serve as conduits through which these energies flow, ultimately affecting the course of your life. Each thought you hold, whether fleeting or persistent, establishes a specific direction for the universal energies to follow. These energies are not fixed or confined. They are in constant motion, always seeking a path that resonates with the energies of your internal state. By aligning your mental frameworks with certain thought patterns, you create channels through which these forces flow, guiding your experiences toward specific outcomes. When you choose to think in ways that are clear, focused, and aligned with your desired outcomes, the flow of these energies is smoother, more consistent, and supportive of your goals. Conversely, when you think in ways that are erratic, uncertain, or misaligned with your inner truth, the flow of energies can become disrupted. This disruption creates friction, causing obstacles and challenges to arise that hinder progress. The act of choosing a mental stance, whether it's one of confidence, fear, positivity, or uncertainty, sets the stage for the energetic exchanges that follow. These choices are not isolated. They are part of a larger cosmic flow, influencing both the internal and external worlds. The universal energetic field responds to your mental states by drawing corresponding experiences into your life. If your thoughts are focused on possibility and openness, the field will correspond by bringing experiences that resonate with that mental stance. If, however, your thoughts are dominated by limitation or fear, the flow will shift, bringing experiences that reflect those internal positions. These exchanges are not random. They follow a distinct pattern that aligns with the thought patterns you consistently uphold. However, when there is misalignment between your mental state and the broader energetic field, a disruption occurs. The misalignment prevents a smooth flow of energy, creating tension and confusion. This tension may manifest as external challenges, repeated setbacks, or a sense of being stuck. The misalignment acts as a block, hindering the fluidity of the natural energies that seek to guide you toward your higher potential. Just as an electrical circuit requires correct connections to function properly, your internal mental states must align with the flow of the universal energies to experience a harmonious existence. When misalignment occurs, the flow is interrupted, and external manifestations may become disjointed, creating a sense of chaos or uncertainty. The polarity of your thoughts, the way you position your mind, directly affects your external reality. Each thought and mental posture you adopt sends out an energetic signal that either invites alignment with the natural flow or causes friction. For instance, when your thoughts align with positive, expansive ideas, the external world responds with corresponding opportunities, relationships, and experiences. The energy behind your thoughts interacts with the cosmic circuit in such a way that it fosters growth and alignment with your greater purpose. On the other hand, when your mental framework is built on negative or restrictive thoughts, the external world responds in kind, bringing challenges that reinforce those limitations. This dynamic is not random. It follows a pattern that is intricately linked to the way you organize and direct your thoughts. The connection between your internal state and the external flow of life is not merely theoretical. It is a fundamental aspect of how reality operates. The mind, as a polarity-based conductor, acts as both a creator and a filter of experiences. Through the choices you make in how you think, feel, and believe, you shape the energy that moves through you and the events that manifest in your life. By becoming more aware of how your thoughts influence the flow of energy, you can begin to take more conscious control of the experiences you attract. In doing so, you begin to understand the power you have in shaping your reality through the polarity you create within your mind. The energy you channel through your thoughts is the very force that directs the course of your life. 7. The synchronization paradox. The synchronization of internal changes with external events is not an instantaneous process. When shifts occur within the mind, whether in thought patterns, beliefs, or perceptions, these changes do not immediately produce visible results in the outside world. Instead, they are subject to a natural delay, an inherent pause in time that exists between the internal and external realms. This time delay is part of the intricate structure of reality itself and reflects the complexity of the systems at play. When you alter your inner world, the external world takes time to adjust and align with these shifts. This delay exists because the forces that govern reality are vast and operate across multiple layers that must synchronize before any visible change occurs. The effects you observe in your life are not direct, immediate results of your internal changes. Rather, they are echoes of shifts that have already taken place in your mind. These external events are the products of past mental transformations, gradually making their way into your experience as time progresses. The delay between your internal world and external reality often leads to the misconception that change is not happening, or that the internal work you have done has not yet yielded results. However, in truth, the visible changes are simply part of a longer process, taking time to unfold as different aspects of reality come into alignment. Internal changes set the course for what is to come, but they do so with a certain timing, one that cannot be rushed or forced. The shift in thought, perspective, or belief does not instantly create an outward manifestation. Instead, it begins a process that will unfold as all the necessary conditions align across the layers of reality. This process unfolds according to its own rhythm, which requires patience and awareness. The forces of the internal and external worlds operate on different frequencies, with certain factors needing to converge for the synchronization to occur. This is why external changes often appear delayed, even though the internal shift has already occurred. The timing between the two must align for the transformation to fully materialize in the world around you. True synchronization between the internal and external worlds demands the alignment of multiple conditions, both seen and unseen. The internal shifts you experience are not the sole factor in creating change. There are countless external conditions, circumstances, and energies that must also align to complete the process. This alignment is often gradual, and it may seem like the change is not happening at all in the interim. But in reality, these changes are slowly gaining momentum beneath the surface, preparing to emerge into visible form when the time is right. Understanding this process is key to realizing that the external world is not unresponsive to your inner shifts. It is simply moving in its own time, guided by the same cosmic principles. Because of this delayed synchronization, the process of change can feel like a paradox. You might begin to feel that nothing is shifting externally, even though you are experiencing significant changes internally. It can be frustrating and disheartening to believe that your internal growth is not being reflected in the outside world. However, the reality is that the changes you are making are slowly building the foundation for what is to come. The external world will gradually adjust to these new internal conditions, but it requires time to do so. This process does not happen in a moment, but rather over a period, as multiple forces and layers of reality align with the changes you have made in your mind. Over time, the external world will shift to match the changes within you, even if it doesn't seem apparent in the moment. This synchronization paradox is a natural part of the way reality operates. It teaches that change takes time, and that external circumstances are not always immediate responses to internal shifts. Just as nature operates on its own rhythm, so too does the synchronization between internal thoughts and external events. Recognizing this delayed effect can provide clarity and patience, helping to understand that the visible changes are not reflections of an instant transformation, but rather the slow and steady process of alignment between the mind and the world around you. This paradox of synchronization encourages a deeper understanding of time, process, and alignment in the journey of personal and external transformation. 8. The cosmic interpreter. Within the human mind acts as a vessel through which universal signals are interpreted. These signals, which are present at all times, are constantly flowing from the vast expanse of the cosmos. However, the mind does not originate or create these signals. It merely decodes and interprets them in a way that makes sense within the context of personal experience. The universe continuously sends information through the various forms, but it is through the individual's mind that this data is processed and made comprehensible. Without this interpretive function, the raw universal signals would be meaningless to human consciousness. At any given moment, cosmic inputs are being received by the mind. These inputs are neither random nor sporadic, but instead they are a constant presence that underpins every experience. Yet despite their unceasing flow, the way these signals are perceived and understood differs from person to person. The mind does not receive these inputs as neutral or objective entities. Instead, they are filtered through a lens of beliefs, past experiences, and internal structures. The internal belief systems that each individual holds serve as a framework for understanding and interpreting the world. These filters shape the way in which external events are recognized and experienced, directing attention to certain details while obscuring others. The mind thus acts as a translator, turning abstract, cosmic data into comprehensible patterns that align with the person's understanding of reality. The function of the mind in interpreting the universe is more akin to an intermediary than an originator. It does not create the signals that come from the cosmos, but instead rearranges the signals into a form that fits the individual's mental and emotional framework. This reconfiguration process ensures that the cosmic flow is experienced in ways that resonate with the individual's unique perception, understanding, and worldview. What may be understood as a seemingly random event to one person may appear as a significant and meaningful occurrence to another, depending on how the mind has processed the underlying cosmic signal. This is not a matter of creation, but of perception, how the cosmic information is decoded and then experienced. The mind's role as a filter is crucial to understanding why different people experience the same external event in vastly different ways. Two individuals might witness the same incident, but their interpretations and emotional responses may vary greatly. This is because their belief systems and mental frameworks will alter how they interpret the incoming signals. The event itself is neutral in its raw form, but how it is perceived depends on the internal patterns that shape consciousness. These internal filters shape the way individuals react to the external world, which in turn influence how they navigate their reality. The mind then is not a creator, but a vital tool for translating cosmic signals into patterns that align with an individual's internal state. Furthermore, it's important to recognize that this process of interpretation is continuous. The cosmic flow is ever present, and the mind is constantly at work decoding and reframing this incoming data. Every moment is an opportunity for new information to be received, filtered, and processed, which means that consciousness is always active in its role as an interpreter. This ongoing interpretation shapes not just individual experiences, but also how one perceives themselves in relation to the world around them. The mind then serves as a bridge between the infinite universe and the personal world, constantly reinterpreting the cosmic signals that it receives in ways that allow for meaningful engagement with reality. In essence, consciousness acts as a translator that transforms the raw, ever-present flow of cosmic data into personal narratives and experiences. This process is not about creating reality, but rather about understanding and experiencing it through the unique filters of individual consciousness. The mind's role is to decipher and make sense of the information coming from the cosmos, ensuring that it becomes comprehensible and relevant to each individual. It is through this interpretive function that the external world is understood and integrated into personal experience. The continuous flow of cosmic signals as translated by the mind creates the fabric of human experience, one that is shaped by how we interpret and make sense of the world around us.